Aetius, the main salvation of the Western Empire and a scourge to King Attila, was cut down in the palace together with his friend Boetius by the Emperor Valentinian, and with him fell the Western kingdom, and it has not as yet been able to be restored. Through the treachery of the patrician Maximus, by whose deceit Aetius too had perished, the Emperor Valentinian was cut down in the Campus Martius by means of Optilla and Traustilla, accomplices of Aetius, after they had already killed Heraclius the eunuch. The same Maximus usurped power, and in the 3rd month of his usurpation was torn limb from limb by the Romans in Rome. Glycerius, king of the Vandals, was invited in a letter by Eudoxia, the wife of Valentinian, and entered Rome from Africa. After despoiling the city of everything, he abducted the same Eudoxia and her 2 daughters, taking them back with him. In this consulship, countless swarms of locusts destroyed the crops of Phrygia. Eucharius, a priest of the Church of Lyon, wrote many things necessary for both church and monastic studies. The Emperor Marcian, who must be numbered among the good emperors, breathed his last. He ruled for 6 years and 6 months. Leo succeeded him on his death. By the will of Leo Majorian was proclaimed Caesar at Ravenna. The Emperor Leo sent to each of the Orthodox bishops throughout the entire world individual and identical letters in support of the Chalcedonian tome, so that they could all indicate in their replies what they felt about this tome. He received such identical replies from all these bishops that you would think they had been dictated at the same time from the speech of a single man. Isaac, a priest of the Church of Antioch, wrote many outstanding things in Syriac against the Nestorians and Eutychians. He also lamented the ruin of Antioch in an elegiac poem, as the deacon Ephraim had treated the fall of Nicomedia. The town of Cyzicus was shaken by an earthquake, and since its surrounding walls had crumbled, it mourned for itself and its people for a long time. Hilary was made 44th bishop of the Roman Church and lived for 6 years. Majorian Caesar was slaughtered at Dertona, beside the river which is called Hera. Severus usurped his position. Jacob, a Greek by nationality and pagan in religion, was famous for his medical skills as much as for his character and his writings. When he was called to the sacred bedchamber of the palace to cure Leo Augustus, who was stricken by a fever, he came in and immediately sat down in the chair placed beside the imperial bed, without any signal from the emperor, and so he applied his healing hands. When he next returned at noon to the same sacred couch elevated near the seat where he had sat in the morning, he immediately understood, and, undaunted, he seated himself above the royal bedstead. He explained to the ailing emperor that he had not acted arrogantly, but had done this in accordance with the practices of the ancient founders of his discipline. Prosper, a man from the region of Aquitania, rhetorical in his language and vigorous in his declarations, is said to have composed many things. In addition, it is believed that the letters of Pope Leo against Eutyches concerning the true incarnation of Christ, which were sent to various people, were dictated by this same man. Berigor, king of the Alans, was killed by King Ricimer. Constantinople was enveloped by a great blaze and disfigured in appearance, and it mourned. Severus, who had seized the Western Empire, died at Rome. Theodoret, bishop of the town of Curus, wrote about the incarnation of the Lord, against Eutyches the priest and Dioscorus, the bishop of Alexandria, who denied that there was human flesh in Christ. The Emperor Leo sent the patrician Anthemius to Rome and made him emperor. Simplicius was made 45th bishop of the Roman Church and lived for 15 years. An earthquake destroyed the city of Ravenna. Marcellinus, patrician of the West and a pagan, brought money and military support to the Romans who were fighting against the Vandals at Carthage. He was stabbed treacherously by the very persons on whose behalf he had openly come to fight. In this consulship, the head of Denzic, son of Attila, king of the Huns, was brought to Constantinople. Gennadius, a priest of the Church of Constantinople, wrote a new word-by-word commentary on the prophet Daniel and composed many sermons. Aspar, chief of the patricians, with his sons Ardabur and Patriciolus, the former on the one hand was once a patrician, and the latter on the other was designated Caesar and son-in-law of Prince Leo. An Arian, together with his Arian family, was wounded in the palace by the eunuch's swords and perished. Vesuvius, the volcanic mountain of Campania, roared with internal fires as it spat out boiling debris and nocturnal darkness, overshadowed the day, and it showered the whole surface of Europe with its fine particles of dust. The Byzantines celebrate the memory of this fearful ash on the 6th of November each year. The Emperor Anthemius was killed at Rome by his son-in-law Ricimer. Olybrius filled in his place and died in the 7th month of his reign. In Asia, several cities and towns were leveled in an earthquake. Glycerius was made Caesar at Ravenna more by presumption than election. A sedition arose in the hippodrome at Constantinople, and many Isarians were killed by the people. The Emperor Leo the Elder died of a disease, after he had already made Leo the Younger a Caesar. Counting not only the years of his own rule, but also the months of Leo the Younger, it comes to 17 years and 6 months. Zeno was made emperor of the kingdom by his son and Emperor Leo the Younger. While holding power at Rome, Glycerius Caesar was expelled from the empire by Nepos, the son of the sister of the former patrician, Marcellinus. He was made bishop instead of Caesar at the harbor of the city of Rome, and died. The Emperor Zeno was surrounded by the plots of Verina, his mother-in-law, and her brother Basiliscus. He fled with his wife Ariadne and headed towards Isauria. Basiliscus, the usurper, seized the kingdom of Zeno. Nepos, who had driven Glycerius from the kingdom, was elevated as emperor at Rome. After Nepos had fled, Orestes immediately put his son Augustulus into power. The usurper Basiliscus made Marcus his son Caesar. But while swelling with the Nestorian heresy, he tried to rise up against the Catholic faith. He boasted loudly before he could stand repentant. When Zeno was restored to his former empire, Basiliscus was sent into exile, with his son and his wife Zenonis, and in a village called Limnus in Cappadocia, he wasted away with hunger and died. Odoacer, king of the Goths, took Rome. Odoacer cut down Orestes on the spot. Odoacer condemned Augustulus, the son of Orestes, with the punishment of exile in Lucullanum, a fort in Campania. With this Augustulus perished the western empire of the Roman people, which the first Augustus, Octavian, began to rule in the 709th year from the foundation of the city. This occurred in the 522nd year of the kingdom of the departed emperors, with Gothic kings thereafter holding Rome.